It's too hot to put into words, chosen one. Something is changing quickly and descending in unexpected ways. The folks who attempted to stand in your way are beginning to feel the heat as the cosmos has been shifting in your favor. The heartaches, betrayals, and quiet struggles have all been overcome. The glow-up is starting now. Someone believed they were in charge, yet they were unaware that divine timing is unchangeable. Everything you've been waiting for is suddenly moving with irresistible force into position. You'll feel the rush, the liberation, the breakthrough. Because destiny is on fire and you are the spark this time, it's too hot for words. Let's discuss the two ringleaders, two different sources of attack that you're now facing. One you were unaware of and one you most likely suspected. Both are going to be revealed in ways that will confirm all of the things your gut has been telling you. The first is someone who has been overtly challenging, such as a toxic father, a competing sibling, or a bad job. With this individual, you've been on edge for a long time. You were aware of this person's messiness and propensity for drama. You were unaware of the extent of the conversation, the amount of backstabbing, and the person's obsession with smothering your light. You will be shocked at the second one. This is the colleague, friend, or acquaintance you weren't particularly suspicious about. When you were packing pebbles into your bag, this individual grinned in your face. This person has been taking advantage of your youth, attractiveness, and vitality while feigning concern for you. You will experience that epiphany when this one is disclosed. This is the reason why this individual seemed exhausted. That's why breakouts began to occur. Because of this, relational issues suddenly surfaced. Everything felt heavy because of this. These two individuals have been disseminating inaccurate information about you, fabricating tales, exaggerating circumstances, and outright lying to common acquaintances. It was assumed that you would never learn. Narrative control was presumed to be stable. It was assumed that there was leverage. You will eventually connect all the dots, whether it be via phone call, a chat, or your own intuition. All of those strange sensations you couldn't describe, all of those gut instincts you questioned, and all of the times you sensed something wasn't quite right, but couldn't prove it will all make sense once that knowledge is in place. Your evidence is on its way, and there's something I need you to comprehend. You won't collapse until you have that confirmation. You won't shed a tear for weeks. You won't doubt yourself at all. You'll experience a wave of realization, a feeling of validation, and the realization that you were correct all along. After that, you'll take action. The devil researched you during your recent past, discovered your tendencies, and determined exactly what would keep you stuck in toxic relationships. You were given an option by the devil: risk the unknown or remain in the familiar discomfort. Perhaps it was a career that paid well, but lost you your tranquility, a buddy who was always there but gradually poisoned you, or a relationship that seemed like love but was like a jail. The devil knew your price, whatever it was. The devil placed that dread in front of you like bait because he knew you were scared of being alone, broke, or beginning again. However, you did something unexpected. You left all the same. You made the decision for yourself despite the fact that your hands were trembling. You had no backup plan, and everyone thought you were insane. You opted for tranquility over familiarity. You rejected the devil's playground in favor of God's plan. Your boot camp was that. You were trained in it. You also passed. More significantly, however, you discovered something vital. The devil's bait is never real. You're living without the thing you believed you couldn't live without. The person you believed to be irreplaceable was replaced. You believed that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, but better ones came up. Because you've been here before, you'll chuckle this season when these two ringleaders try to play the same game, when they try to convince you that you need them, when they try to convince you that cutting them off would cost you everything. You are aware of how this tale concludes. God improves your life in its entirety as you go. These folks are unaware of your evolution. It's assumed that you're still the person who had trouble making the choice in your recent past. Leverage is assumed to still be in place. It is assumed that you will hesitate. It will soon be discovered how incorrect these presumptions are. These individuals have been aggressively attempting to defraud you while you've been taking care of yourself, going through your spiritual purification, and improving yourself. Not just your calm, not only your vitality. There have been attempts to identify certain aspects about you that make others envy. There have been attempts to take your relationships. Being single is desired if you are in a romantic relationship. If you're content, they want you to be unhappy. You sense that negative energy, possibly even actual spell work, have been directed at your relationships. The unexplainable disagreements, the unexpected uncertainties, the gap that emerged out of nowhere. There have been attempts to take your voice, your ideas, your creativity, and your prospects. Something strange always occurs just as you're ready to level up. An opportunity disappears, a link shatters, or a project fails, and it leaves you wondering what went wrong. There is nothing wrong with you. In the spiritual world, someone has been working against you. All of this occurred while positioning was taking place to make these individuals appear essential in your life, while trauma bonding was being established, and while you were being led to believe that you needed these people. Because draining may continue if connection can be maintained. Stealing may continue if reliance is established. You became aware. You began to listen. When you were among these folks, you began to feel the energy, and it wasn't right. It had a strong vibe. The atmosphere was exhausting. As a result, you began to set limits, withdraw, share less, and defend yourself. Panic struck at that point. Desperation emerged at that point. Errors began to occur at that point, because energy vampires cannot live when the source is shut off. The functioning of these folks depends on your light. These folks require your essence to feel alive. For these folks to feel significant, you must succeed. And you're going to cut off access forever. If this message resonates with you, share this video with those you feel should hear it. You were shattered by your recent history. It should have. You have to discover your true nature. You had to learn that you could live without the individuals you consider to be necessary. You needed to demonstrate to yourself that your faith outweighed your fear. And you succeeded. You severed ties with loved ones. You left settings that were pleasant for you. You put everything in danger because you thought God would save you. And each time, catching took place. A better job appeared at the one you believed you couldn't quit. Your true match, the person you believed to be your soulmate, is on the way. Your true tribe is coming together, the folks you feared you'd be alone without. However, the procedure was painful. You shed tears. You asked yourself. There were times when you were vulnerable and almost retreated. Sitting on the stepping stone, you felt uneasy, wanted to take a break, and weren't prepared to continue. That hesitancy was typical. You were getting better. You were gaining knowledge. You were gaining muscle. You are no longer on the stepping stone this season. You have momentum as you go. You are acting out of strength rather than survival. Clarity, not uncertainty, is what you're cutting from. And for anybody who attempts to play games with you, it makes you very dangerous. Because you now trust things right away when you know something is wrong. Months of proof are not necessary. Your intuition doesn't need to be confirmed by others. You don't have to give them many opportunities to demonstrate the existence of toxicity. You act appropriately after learning about it within a few days or perhaps hours. Now, the first time someone reveals their identity to you, you believe them. You're not defending your actions. You're not being forgiving. Fixing, saving, or giving another chance are not your goals. You're clean, finished, and done. You're now dangerous because of it. You're no longer linked. You don't have codependency. You're not in a dire situation. You're fully prepared to stand by yourself, if that is what it takes to respect yourself. Additionally, those who use your bond to control you are suddenly powerless. Something is about to occur. You're about to get information that validates all of your intuition. And when it happens, you'll move so quickly that these individuals won't even realize what struck them. Perhaps it's a buddy who ultimately chooses to be honest with you about what they heard. Perhaps you're making connections between many sources. Perhaps it involves listening in on a discussion that you shouldn't have. Perhaps your intuition is finally becoming so strong that you can no longer ignore it. It's coming, no matter how it arrives. You won't be saddened when you get that knowledge. At last, everything makes sense, and you will feel emancipated. At last, you are allowed to have faith in yourself. At last, you can stop questioning if you're being paranoid and begin acting. There will be a relocation of one of these ringleaders. Not by you, the cosmos, karma, or the results of their own deeds. One day, you'll wake up and discover that this individual has left, either by being fired, moving, being cut off by someone else, or being revealed by their own actions. Additionally, you will exhale a sigh of relaxation. You will take care of the other one on your own. There won't even be time for a defense since you're going to cut this individual off so neatly, completely, and irrevocably. You're going to cut them out of your life in every way, block them on all platforms, and erase their number. And you're going to do it without any justification, without any drama, and without providing this individual with the closure they believe they need. Perhaps one of them will attempt to interrupt you first. They may try to outsmart you if they sense you're onto them. Someone may try to use you as a scapegoat by acting like the victim and blaming you for actions. Additionally, you will allow this individual to believe they are winning. Because you've already blocked by the time that move is made, you're going to provide the impression that the last word was obtained. You've already made a replacement, 10 steps ahead of you already. You've gained valuable knowledge. You now know that you don't need to wait for the worst to happen before taking precautions. Someone doesn't need to be caught in the act. You do not need to have hard evidence. Your gut feeling is sufficient evidence. The fact that your tranquility is being interrupted is sufficient evidence. Your body breaking out and your diminished energy are sufficient indicators. And this is why you're now too hot to handle. You're prepared to be mistaken about individuals. You're prepared to give up relationships that might have been saved because you'd rather be safe and alone than sorry and surrounded by snakes. You're prepared to be labeled as overly sensitive, theatrical, or paranoid. Instead of proving you were correct, you would prefer to keep your peace. Giving someone the benefit of the doubt at the expense of your sanity is preferable than following your instincts. Your opponents are scared of this frequency. Someone who is prepared to leave at the first hint of disrespect is impossible to manipulate. When someone has more faith in their own perspective than in the explanation of another, gaslighting is ineffective. Someone who puts peace above all relationships cannot be controlled. So that you're prepared, I'll tell you this immediately. Thus, you're able to identify it when it occurs, so that you don't doubt yourself. Thus, you behave with the assurance of someone who is fully aware of the situation. There is no need for you to hem and haw. You will not create lengthy paragraphs that provide explanations. You won't attempt to explain things to them. Block, delete, done is all you're going to do. And everyone, including you, will be shocked by how quickly it happens. You see, you sought closure in your recent past. You have to voice your opinion. You had to let them know why you were going. You know something important this season. Your tranquility is not up for discussion. You cannot compromise your bounds. You don't need permission to make your choice. You will thus walk in quiet. Before sending any final messages, you will block on anything. You will ensure that there is no access. Then, you will only say what you need to say if you feel like it. To end the loop for yourself, not to persuade, not to harm. Consider it. You begin looking for a job as soon as you know you're about to leave. Emotional detachment is the first thing you do when you realize a relationship is ending. You begin forming new relationships initially when you realize a friendship is unhealthy. Burning bridges and figuring things out later is not an option. Before you set the old bridge on fire, you construct the new one. And you've been doing just that. Perhaps you were unaware of it at all. Perhaps you felt like you were simply protecting yourself or exercising caution. But in reality, you were getting ready for this. The point at which you would have to interrupt these individuals. And you're ready because you were ready and kept 10 steps ahead. Your adversaries believed you were imprisoned. It was assumed that you need these. It was assumed that you were in a corner. However, you were never confined. All you did was wait for the ideal moment, awaiting the arrival of your replacement, awaiting God's approval. You're moving now that you have everything and everything is in order. You have seen, learned, and comprehended that loyalty to oneself takes precedence over allegiance to others who do not appreciate you. Therefore, when your cleaning staff failed to show up, your employer simply recruited someone better rather than pleading with them to return or giving them another opportunity. The same energy has been being applied to your personal life as well. You begin searching for a replacement as soon as someone exhibits unreliability, and you don't cut them off until you have it. That is the energy of a powerful boss. That's one energy that was selected. That is a sign that you value yourself too highly to be left hanging. And that's precisely what you're doing at the moment. You'll notice a physical change, like a weight being lifted off your chest that you were unaware you were carrying at some point, most likely within days of cutting these folks off. One day, when you wake up, you'll find that your skin has changed. It's brighter and clearer. The breakouts have almost completely disappeared. The dark circles have faded, and the fatigue has vanished. Your vitality will return, and you'll say to yourself, "Oh my God, there I am. I look like myself again." The energy that was being drained, the spark that someone was attempting to extinguish, will resurface. It will make you want to work out, create, laugh, and live. Everything that seemed to need too much work is suddenly simple once again. You're going to laugh once more. True laughter, the kind that originates in your stomach, the sort that shakes you from head to foot, the type that makes your eyes water. Not the courteous laugh you've been making, not the phony grin you've been trying to maintain. Sincere happiness that arises from the release of your spirit. You will have energy for the things that are important to you, including your dreams, your loved ones, your artistic endeavors, and yourself. You now have more energy for your real life instead of being diverted to dealing with poisonous individuals and navigating turmoil. When you're not continuously putting out flames that someone else started, you'll be astounded at how much you can achieve. Sleeping through the night is what you will do. No more experiencing unexplained anxiousness that wakes you up at strange hours. No more turning over and over, reliving talks, and attempting to determine what went wrong. Since there is no longer any danger, your nervous system will relax. The energy vampire has been disconnected. At last, your body can relax. Let me now introduce you to something genuine. Engine of Destiny. I created this because I was tired of seeing those who were selected be subjected to assaults, treachery, and isolation while their adversaries walked free. I want to assist you in stepping fully into your destiny and accelerating the pace of your divine justice. The best part is that you don't even need to do anything. Destiny Engine turns their failure into your success. This isn't just another app for meditation. Declassified consciousness technology is what it is. Re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with a cooperative, improved operational framework. These mind programming techniques were originally utilized by your foes to instill fear, competition, and scarcity. It creates unique sequences that are aligned with your spiritual destiny. Putting on headphones, hitting play, and watching your adversaries continue to dig their own graves is the toughest thing you will ever do. The renovation as a whole is under progress. Turn all they did to break you into fuel for your ascent by starting your Destiny Engine for only $1 now. The description contains a link. You're going to start drawing in new clients. Those that resonate with your new frequency. Those who, like you, desire peace. Those who, like you, safeguard energy. People who, like you, soon stop being harmful. Everything in your life is going to change, including your tribe. Additionally, you will experience euphoria. That's the term that appears repeatedly. Giddy, like a child on a holiday morning, like someone who has received the most wonderful news of their life. There will be sunlight for you to stroll on. You may float away since you will be so light. You will chuckle for no other reason than that you are at last at liberty. People will be aware of the shift. People will ask you what you did differently. People will comment on how confident you seem, how calm you seem, and how nice you look. You will just grin since you're aware of this. You are aware that you have at last made your own decision. The improvement appears quickly once you remove the clutter by getting rid of these poisonous individuals, as if the world was simply waiting for you to do so in order to bestow your benefits. You'll question how you were able to put up with the previous circumstances for so long. You will see clearly what you were previously unable to notice, the disrespect you tolerated, the crumbs you referred to as a feast, and the poison that seemed normal. More than that, however, you will have self-confidence going ahead. Every time you have to interrupt someone, you'll know that something greater is on the way. You will no longer fear the emptiness. You will accept it as the place where miracles occur. You're constructing this testimony. You're going to share this tale with others who are afraid to leave. This demonstrates that God fulfills his promises. You left with nothing but faith, and each time you received what you needed. Let me now tell you something that will blow your head about these improvements. These improvements go beyond just being better. These improvements are tailored to your future destination. You couldn't have advanced to the next level with that previous connection. There was no equipment for that trip. There wasn't enough capacity for the trip. Even in the absence of purposeful sabotage, you would have been kept back. However, this new circumstance, this new chance, and this new person are all suited to your fate. It corresponds with your frequency. It is in line with your goals. This is what you're supposed to get. You have been preparing for this. The elderly had to die for this reason, and that will be quite evident to you. You'll question why you ever felt the need for those other folks. You will chuckle at your own fear of letting go. The amount of effort you spent attempting to make something function that was never intended to be permanent will make you shake your head. Making some people into something greater is like attempting to live in a hotel. Some people are seasons, some people are lessons, and other people are stepping stones. It's not home, but it works for a minute. Home was never supposed to be there. Additionally, it becomes more unpleasant the longer you remain. Your true folks are on their way. Your true opportunities are on the horizon. Your actual life is just getting started. Additionally, it doesn't resemble the scene you just left. It's superior, much better, since you have never previously encountered this degree of synchronicity in ways you could never have predicted. The first ringleader, the one who is moved, will be perplexed, wondering why everything came apart so quickly, why everyone turned against him, and why karma appeared so quickly. People like that never accept responsibility, so there won't be any connection to what was done to you. However, you will see it and understand that the cosmos defends those who are chosen. Recognize that what goes around comes around. Recognize that justice was served without you having to do anything. If you cut off the second ringleader immediately, they will scurry. There will be attempts to connect with others. There will be attempts at explanation. There will be victimization. You're going to be blamed. Everyone who listens will hear that you are the poisonous one, the insane one, and the issue. You will also not participate. Not once. You won't defend yourself in front of irrelevant individuals. Mutual friends won't hear your side of the story. You will not be pulled into back and forth. What you needed to say has already been spoken. You've already taken action. You're finished. It's not known that self-exposure occurs when someone tries to make you seem terrible. Individuals who really know you will be able to see through it. Important people will be able to spot manipulation when they see it. Furthermore, you weren't interested in anybody who believed the falsehoods. Others in their social circle will also begin to recognize the reality. Because when one individual succeeds and breaks free, it serves as an example for others. Your successful departure will encourage others to follow suit. Because of your bravery, others will feel free to make their own decisions. Thus, these ringleaders are losing more than just you. Because you were the first domino, other individuals are going to be lost. It was you who dared to take the lead. And now that others can see that it is possible, they will follow your example. The whole poisonous dynamic is on the verge of disintegrating. You've distanced yourself from it, not because you destroyed it. And that's all it takes sometimes. Once you're gone, see how quickly their world falls apart. Observe the speed at which the facade breaks. Observe the extent of self-exposure that occurs when you're no longer held accountable. It will have a biblical theme. It will be a case of poetic justice. And you will be able to see it all from a safe distance. Safe, unconcerned, and prospering. You are rescuing more than just yourself. An whole hazardous ecology is being destroyed by you. For those who are unaware that imprisonment even exists, you are severing shackles. You're laying forth a model for others to emulate. That's why your breakthrough is so important. It's not all about you. It's about everyone observing. These ringleaders are unaware of anything else that is taking place at the moment. Your voice is becoming louder. Your platform is expanding. Your impact is growing. And it's taking place as a result of your decision to choose integrity above convenience. You see, the universe rewards those who stand up for themselves, refuse to be hushed, and cut off those who want to dull your light. Your audience expands. Your message is more widely received. Your influence grows. You will soon be in charge of an army of earth angels that have been defeated and tallied. An army of late bloomers who believed their window had closed. An army of light workers who are just now learning how to use power. Additionally, you will guide them from a position of honesty about your path, rather than one where you have everything all out. Your testimony counts. Your narrative is important. It's important that you survived. People will identify themselves in it when you share it. They will find their own bravery in yours. Your metamorphosis will give people hope that theirs is achievable. The boot camp has to be quite rigorous for this reason. You had to endure all you did because of this. Because you can't guide somebody out of a hole you haven't been in yourself. If you've never ended a toxic relationship, you can't teach others how to do the same. If you have never had to use your faith when everything seemed lost, you cannot lecture about it. However, you succeeded. You experienced it. You made it through it. It taught you something. You may now assist others in doing the same. The calling is that. The anointing is that. That's why all the suffering is there. Your adversaries despise it as well. For them, seeing you ascend is an agony. It hurts them to see you inspire others. It is heartbreaking for them to know that their efforts to ruin you merely strengthened your testimony. However, because this is no longer about you, there is nothing that can be done about it. This concerns everyone you intend to assist. Hell itself is unable to stop that. Let me tell you what else is about to escalate. Your discernment, your ability to recognize toxic individuals more quickly, your ability to trust your instincts right away, and your readiness to leave at the first warning sign rather than the 50. People will no longer need months to prove their identities to you. It will protect you in ways you can't yet fathom, and you'll know in a matter of weeks or days. You will steer clear of circumstances that would have ruined the previous iteration of yourself. You will avoid traps that might have previously ensnared you. You'll be able to see manipulation from a distance and just move aside. This is the blessing that comes with overcoming adversity. You become invincible, not because nothing can reach you, but because you can see it coming and move before it falls. Because you're no longer an easy target, you're too hot to handle. You're on guard. You know, you're ready. You will also notice a change when new individuals enter your life. You'll get the feeling that you don't put up with rudeness. It will become evident that you cherish your calm more than the presence of others. The proper individuals will understand and appreciate that access to you is a privilege rather than a right. The wrong individuals will destroy themselves. You realize that lifting weights isn't a random act. It is a calculated move. It's wonderful timing. It's the outcome of you finally letting go of the things that were draining you and creating room for the things that are supposed to bring you blessings. You realize that the ringleaders lost. There was self-exposure. You lost access to your light. The real nature emerged. You gained the freedom to advance to the next level as a result. You realize that your recent boot camp experience helped you become ready for this. You learned what you needed to know in that exam when you had to put yourself above comfort. You didn't hesitate to make the same decision this season. You moved with the intensity of someone who recalls the last time they put their faith in God instead of fear. The devil's bait is always a lie. You know that. Because what God has in store for you is always better than whatever was dangled in front of you to keep you hooked. On the other side of compliance, you comprehend that your intuition is legitimate. That being 20 steps ahead is a sign of discernment rather than paranoia. That if something doesn't feel right, it's wrong. For a period, the sun is rising. The light is finally rising after all those stormy nights, all that chaos, and all those assaults. And there you are, smiling, lighter than you have ever been, and free. You get up in the morning and you're not dreading the day. You don't worry about the people you'll have to deal with. You're not emotionally getting ready for drama. You just awaken calmly, prepared, and eager for the day. You go to sleep soundly. Your dreams are serene. Tension that has been stored for months is released by your body. At last, your nervous system feels secure, and you awake refreshed, rejuvenated, and prepared to take on the day. And it's heading down. They not you. Everything that is based on falsehoods is falling apart. I'm returning everything that was taken. Everything that was attempted to be destroyed is thriving. They wanted you to be angry so you would make errors. In order to keep you little, hurt was wanted. It was intended that you would miss your blessings if you focused on them. Rather, you're unconcerned. You've moved on. You're doing well. And that lack of concern is more harmful to them than any planned retaliation. Your breakthrough, your testimony, your moment. In years to come, you will reflect on this period and give thanks to God for each and every one of the people who deceived you. Because you were forced into your fate by treachery. Your anointing was triggered by the attack. Jealousy demonstrated your worth. So claim it back. Say it aloud. I reclaim my strength, attractiveness, and young appearance that were taken from me or used against me without causing damage to anybody. May everyone return purified, devoid of hate and animosity. From this day forward, anybody who seeks to steal my beauty or stab me in the back, my beauty simply amplifies times 1,000 in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen. Anyone who attempts what those ringleaders did from now on will fail miserably since you're now protected. Now you're safe. Because of the frequency at which you operate, such assaults are no longer able to reach you. Attempts will happen. There will always be attempts. Sticking won't occur, however. It will bounce straight off, and they will be struck instead. This is what it means to be too hot to handle. You're no longer just surviving assaults. They're being repelled by you. They are reflected in you. They are becoming blessings because of you. Every curse turns into a teaching moment. Each assault turns into a testimonial. Every adversary turns into a stepping stone. That's the recipe. The blueprint is that. That is the thing that turns a victim into a winner. You perfected it too. You've experienced it. You've shown its efficacy. You now have the opportunity to instruct anybody who is prepared to learn. When the chosen ones assume complete authority, this is what occurs. The mood changes. Reality is pliable. Impossible becomes inevitable. And everyone who is observing must decide whether to withdraw themselves from your presence or raise to your frequency. There is no longer a middle ground. In the recent past, you were a different person. Even in the last several weeks, you have changed. You changed. You went up. You developed into the person you were destined to be. And you can't be stopped now. I won't dim you. No holding you up. No beating you. Because you've been selected. You have been anointed. You're safe. You're fortunate. And you're going to demonstrate to the world just what it means. Get ready. Be prepared. For this is more than simply a breakthrough. It's a launch pad. This marks a sea change. The greatest chapter of your life is about to begin. The blocks are raised. The sun is out. The weight has vanished. You're also too attractive to put into words. Greetings from home, selected one. Greetings from your strength. Greetings from your objective. Welcome to everything you've been asking for. It's here. You're present. Furthermore, nothing can undo the progress God has made in your life.